Welcome to my channel, where we talk about living simply, meaningfully, and with peace of mind in our golden years. Today, we'll explore a topic that's close to the hearts of many retirees, whether it's better to rent or own your home in retirement. It's not just about money, it's about freedom, security, and the kind of lifestyle you want as you age. I've been through this decision myself, and I want to share what I've learned about finding real comfort through simplicity. When I first retired, I thought owning a home was the ultimate goal. Like many people of my generation, I grew up believing that homeownership meant stability, pride, and success. But as the years passed, I began to see that owning also meant constant upkeep, property taxes, insurance, and the never-ending list of repairs that drained both energy and finances. The roof needed fixing, the plumbing acted up, and every spring I found myself knee-deep in yard work when I could have been enjoying time with my grandkids. That's when I started to question the idea of ownership. What if I didn't need to own to feel secure? What if renting could actually give me more peace and less stress? At first, the thought of selling my house felt strange. It was filled with memories and years of effort. But once I looked at the numbers and imagined a life without maintenance headaches, the idea of renting started to feel like a breath of fresh air. Renting offered me flexibility I hadn't had in decades. If I wanted to move closer to family, I could. If my health changed and I needed a place with easier access or senior amenities, I could adjust without the hassle of selling a property. That freedom is something many retirees underestimate. Life at 70 doesn't stand still. Our needs, priorities, and even our mobility change, and renting allows us to adapt gracefully. Another thing that surprised me was the financial relief. Owning a home comes with hidden costs, repairs, taxes, homeowners insurance, and sometimes even association fees. When you rent, most of that disappears. You know exactly what your monthly expenses are, and you can plan your budget with clarity. That predictability can bring an enormous sense of calm, especially if you're living on a fixed income. There's also the emotional simplicity that comes with letting go of possessions. Downsizing from a large home to a smaller rental encouraged me to keep only what truly mattered. My minimalist journey deepened because I wasn't just decluttering my space, I was freeing my mind. Living with less helped me focus more on relationships, hobbies, and health rather than the things I owned. Many seniors worry that renting means instability, but in truth it can mean flexibility and opportunity. You can choose a community that supports your lifestyle, perhaps one that offers social activities, maintenance-free living, or even scenic walking trails. And if you ever feel like a change of scenery, you can easily do so without being tied down by property obligations. Of course, there are emotional ties to homeownership that shouldn't be dismissed. The memories, the familiar walls, the garden you've tended for years, those things are real and meaningful. But sometimes, clinging to them can keep us anchored to stress rather than joy. I had to remind myself that memories live in my heart, not in the walls of a house. When I finally decided to rent, I felt an incredible lightness. I remember sitting in my new apartment, sipping coffee by the window and realizing that I didn't have to worry about mowing lawns or repairing gutters anymore. The sense of peace was overwhelming. For the first time in years, I felt like I truly owned my time. Renting also opened doors to new experiences. I met neighbors from all walks of life, many of them seniors like me, who had chosen freedom over ownership. We shared stories, supported one another, and created a community that felt just as warm as any neighborhood I had ever lived in. Another benefit of renting is location. Without being tied to a mortgage, you can choose to live closer to loved ones, near healthcare facilities, or in a climate that better suits your needs. For some, that might mean moving to a sunny apartment near the beach. For others, it could be a quiet senior complex near family. The point is, you have the choice. Some people worry that renting means wasting money because you don't build equity. But at this stage in life, financial growth looks different. Freedom from stress, flexibility, and peace of mind are forms of wealth too. When you factor in all the costs of homeownership, the so-called loss from renting can actually be a gain in quality of life. Minimalism teaches us that owning less can mean living more fully. The same applies to housing. By choosing to rent, you simplify not just your physical space but your entire lifestyle. You make room for experiences, relationships, and self-care instead of responsibilities that no longer bring value. There's also something profoundly liberating about being able to say, "I don't have to fix that." When something breaks, you make a call and it's handled. No stress, no expense, no weekend projects you didn't ask for. It's a different kind of independence, one that allows you to focus your energy on what really matters. As we age, simplicity becomes more than a preference. It becomes essential. Our bodies may not move as quickly, and our patience for clutter and chaos diminishes. Choosing a simpler lifestyle through renting aligns beautifully with the minimalist philosophy. Keep what adds peace, and let go of what adds pressure. For many retirees, health is another consideration. Maintaining a large property can become physically demanding. Renting often means fewer stairs, smaller spaces, and buildings designed with accessibility in mind. Your environment should support your well-being, not challenge it. Financially, renting can also protect you from unexpected surprises. Real estate markets fluctuate, home values change, and major repairs can appear out of nowhere. Renting offers stability in uncertain times, and for those relying on retirement savings, that predictability can make all the difference. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, of course. Some people truly love owning their homes and find joy in caring for them. But for those who crave freedom, lightness, and a simpler life, renting can be a powerful step toward minimalism and peace. It's about matching your home to the life you want to live now, not the one you lived decades ago. If you're considering a change, start small. Research local rental options, talk to others who've made the shift, and visit communities that align with your needs. You might be surprised by how vibrant, comfortable, and fulfilling a rental lifestyle can be. In the end, the choice between renting and owning isn't just about property, it's about purpose. Retirement is the time to embrace what brings you joy, comfort, and peace. For many of us, that means less ownership and more living. As time went on, I realized that renting didn't just change my living situation, it changed my mindset. I stopped seeing my home as a financial asset and started viewing it as a space for experiences and peace. The freedom to choose where and how I live made me feel more in control of my retirement years. Instead of being tied down by things, I became uplifted by possibilities. I began exploring nearby parks, attending community events, and even volunteering more often, simply because my mind and calendar were no longer occupied by home maintenance. Another unexpected benefit was how much easier it became to travel. When you own a house, you're always worrying about security, mail, and upkeep when you're away. But as a renter, those concerns fade into the background. I could visit my children for weeks without stressing about frozen pipes or lawn care. Traveling light, both in possessions and responsibilities, gave me a renewed sense of adventure. That's something I hadn't felt in years, and it made me grateful for embracing a minimalist renter's life. Most importantly, I found peace in knowing I was living intentionally. Renting allowed me to align my lifestyle with my values: simplicity, freedom, and mindfulness. Every morning when I wake up in my quiet, uncluttered space, I feel gratitude for this chapter of life. The walls may not be mine, but the peace, clarity, and joy they shelter absolutely are. To me, that's what true ownership looks like in retirement: owning your time, your choices, and your happiness. Over time, I've also noticed how renting encouraged me to stay socially connected. Many senior rental communities are filled with people who share similar goals: living simply, staying active, and embracing change. I've met neighbors who became close friends, sharing morning walks and evening chats over tea. The sense of belonging I've found in these communities is something I never expected when I first left my owned home. It reminded me that freedom doesn't have to mean isolation. In fact, it often opens doors to deeper human connections. Another realization that came with this lifestyle is emotional clarity. Letting go of ownership taught me to release my attachment to things and focus more on people and purpose. The mental space I gained was astonishing. I began journaling again, picking up old hobbies, and even learning new skills online. Without the mental clutter of upkeep and possessions, I could finally hear my own thoughts again. It's incredible how quietness and simplicity can awaken your inner peace. And perhaps most beautifully, renting in retirement taught me that life. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helps you see that freedom in retirement can come from unexpected places. Whether you own or rent, remember, simplicity isn't about sacrifice, it's about choosing what truly matters and letting the rest go. Here's to a retirement filled with peace, clarity, and the beautiful freedom of living light.